Hi, and welcome to From the Wings. I'm Stephanie Freed, and I'm so glad that you're here with us today. We have a fantastic conversation today with Eva Price, Tony Award-winning Broadway producer. I couldn't be more excited to have this discussion and to share it with you. So thanks again for joining us. Before we begin today's episode, I'd like to do what I always do, and that is thank Webster Bank for their incredible support of the Bushnell. They are our official presenter of the From the Wings series, and we're so grateful to Webster Bank for their loyal and generous support today and always. So thank you, Webster Bank. As I hope you know, the Bushnell is getting ready to reopen. It's here, you guys. We're finally here. So our first show is this Saturday. It's at 2:00, and it's the Middlesex Hospital Vocal Cords and their tribute to the 20th anniversary of September 11th. It is a special event, and we are so proud to host it, and we hope to have many of you join us for that. It's going to be truly a moving afternoon of remembrance. In preparation for that return, we have been communicating a lot here on From the Wings, on our social media, on our website about health and safety and our commitment to a healthy and safe return to the theater and those protocols, because there are some very specific protocols, as we talked about here with David Fay just a few weeks ago. One piece that we're just rolling out today is our health and safety video. It's a somewhat lighthearted take on what is truly a serious subject, and I'm really excited to share it with you here. So let's roll that.
Hey, theater goer, I'm Corey, and it's finally time to stop rewatching old episodes of Glee and join us in person for a mind-blowing experience at our beloved Bushnell Theater. But you may be asking yourself, things have been a little scary lately. Is it okay to go to the theater? Oh, you better believe it. Prepare for the white glove experience, my dear patron. Now, let's take it from the top. Everyone back to 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. First, our cleaners scrubbed this theater from balcony to banister so masterfully that you'll be standing up and shouting for an encore. And there is an encore before and after every single show. When you arrive, step right out and scan your ticket or phone at our new touchless ticketing kiosk. But can a machine really handle the job of an overly enthusiastic intern? Zayden, we're promoting you to lead washroom attendant.
Oh, no way! Thank you so much, sir. I will not let you down.
Trust me, it's better this way. And if you'll be needing an assisted listening device, they're available at customer relations. But please bring wired headphones from home. It's important to remember that masks are required in the building at all times. Proper wearing of a mask covers both the nose and the mouth. Not quite, boys. And while the darkness may embolden you, please keep your mask on, even when the lights are down. Oh, sorry. Need a scoot to the loo? You'll find that our bathrooms are equipped with touchless sinks, soaps, and toilets. As Hamilton famously said, rinse up.
It's like something at a Hogwarts.
Even the bard would approve. And should you desire a refresh, hand sanitizer stations are located here. And here. And over here. And here.
And over here.
So, take a deep breath and enjoy the show. Smells like creative freedom and great memories about to be made, doesn't it? Well, that's actually our new state-of-the-art MERV 13 air filtration system. Now, come with me and let's find your seats. At the Bushnell, we're going above and beyond to keep you safe. Because when it comes to health, attention must be paid. We look forward to seeing you soon some enchanted evening.
So like I said, it's a lighthearted take. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you also found it useful in understanding the Bushnell's commitment to health and safety, your health and safety, when you come to the theater to enjoy amazing shows with us. So let's talk about amazing shows. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's start talking Broadway. I am thrilled to welcome my guest, Tony Award-winning producer, Eva Price. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Oh my God, I adored that video.
Oh, good.
Wonderful. Truly, truly. You listen, if you don't smile and laugh throughout all this, what else do you have?
Right? I think we've had to remember to smile and laugh a lot over the last 18 months.
Yeah, for sure.
So thinking about how was this last 18 months for you? This has to be an incredibly busy time coming out of it. How does this all feel? Talk to me about what's going on.
Sure. It's a marathon sprint, I think is one way to sort of look at it. It is right. We'll start with right now. Right now is thrilling and petrifying and overwhelming and anxiety ridden and it's also impassioning and enthusiastic making and happy making, which is several things that we haven't had this last year and a half. So it's sort of like the roller coaster of feelings, and you just need to ride it. And that's what this moment is, because we're back doing what we love. We're in rooms with actors and creatives, and we're putting on shows, and we're in rehearsal, and we're planning calendars and tours. And who knew that would be around the bend, through every up and down of the last 18 months. So it is hard. It is absolutely the hardest thing I've ever done, to reopen all these shows all at once under these crazy conditions. But when I look at the alternative, this is what we want to be doing. This is where we want to be every day and every night. So it is the reason meditation apps exist.
The Calm app is your friend, right?
Exactly.
So that difference, right, of typically you're moving a show to opening night, not necessarily 4 at one time. You're maybe it's 1, maybe it's 2, but it's typically you're focusing in. You're trying to create reopening nights for multiple shows all at once, not just in New York, but getting out on the road. That must be harrowing.
Is it too early to start drinking?
Never. It's never too early.
Yeah, it is harrowing. It is harrowing. It's what I've always taken great pride in is that I am all in on my shows, right? Like morning, noon, and night, answering every last email, making every last phone call, showing up at every last rehearsal and meeting to get it done and get it done right and get it done well. But when you have to do that times 4, while also dealing with the emotions of this moment and the trauma of the last 18 months and the change that everyone has been through, not only our staff and our companies, but our audiences, let's not forget that they've been as traumatized as the people on the stage and the people making the work, and wanting to keep close attention and thoughtfulness about everyone's experience. That is infused in all the work that we're doing, times 4, times 100, if you add in all the moving parts to it, never mind COVID and safety and health, which is why I really appreciate your video, because it's honest, it's true, and it's lighthearted, which is all the pieces we need to also remind ourselves are part of our reentry.
Right. Yeah. The new normal, right? And it's not normal.
Right.
But it is our normal today. It is what is today. And I think we are all, and I hear from our patrons, their desperate desire to get back in the theater, to have these experiences together. What, when you think about coming back, have you had your first reopening night yet?
No, not yet.
When is that?
Well, there's several, Steph. I'm the commercial partner on an off-Broadway show at the New York Theater Workshop called Sanctuary City, a beautiful play. That was actually the last show I saw on March 11th. And the first time I was back in a theater last night, seeing the first preview.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened. I made it through. And that opening night, official opening night, because that show had to shut during previews, is September 20th.
Okay.
Then we have What the Constitution Means to Me, the national tour, which was interrupted in Chicago in March of 2020, which will be reopening in Minneapolis with a different actress.
And it'll be here. It'll be here for our patrons in January, and I am beside myself. I can't wait to have this show in our hall.
I can't wait for you also. And we'll be opening that October 5th at the Guthrie in Minneapolis. Then I have Jagged Little Pill, which will be reopening on Broadway on October 21st. So I'm sort of like skipping around to rehearsals and openings throughout the country. And then we launched the national tour of the 2019 Tony Award-winning revival of Oklahoma, which is this beautiful, urgent, more resonant and relevant than ever for today's America. And that national tour will launch in top of November in Minneapolis as well. So I'm bopping around lots and lots of cities and shows reopening.
With Oklahoma, I'm curious, that was in the revival on Broadway, that was in the round, right? So
Yeah.
are you having to reimagine it for proscenium theaters around the country?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Right. And we had reimagined it for proscenium theaters from the jump, because we didn't know when we transferred it to Broadway that we would wind up in Circle in the Square. You know, we knew that we had a great show that was telling a really important story about America today through the lens of a classic American musical that we all know and love, but turns out we didn't quite know what it was all about and what it was all saying. So we had a vision for a proscenium theater when we transferred it from St. Anne's Warehouse, but we were fortunate enough to end up at Circle in the Square for a year. And so then reimagine it again for proscenium. And I'm thrilled. I couldn't be more excited. The set is being built and the model looks amazing, and all of the preliminary staging work is smart and works really well. And, you know, at the end of the day, a show is not about, you know, the seating arrangements of the company and the audience. It's about, what is it saying? How is it saying it? How does it sound? How does it look? How does it make you feel? And that essence of our production of Oklahoma is 110% still there throughout the casting, throughout the design, throughout the staging, throughout the storytelling. And I can't wait to announce our company and begin this tour.
Yeah, that's, you know, Oklahoma, this revival of Oklahoma, I think the more recent revival of My Fair Lady, the messages, the conversations, I think that these stagings are creating.
Yeah.
It's powerful. You know, it's powerful to reconsider those things in this new context and in today's context. So I thank you for producing Oklahoma and continuing those conversations, you know.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Those conversations are really important. They're really important. They've always been important. I've been having them with my shows for years. Now it feels like the rest of the world has caught up to having those conversations too, and recognizing how important they are. And I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for that. I'm now just boring and one of the rest, and I'm happy to be part of the pack instead of breaking the mold all the time.
Yeah. I think boring is not a word one would use to describe you, but trend setting, perhaps. Trend setting. Others have joined in the conversation. You know, I know we had a list of questions that we were going to talk through today. I'm going to jump ahead because I think what we're just talking about leads into this really nicely. And that is the conversation around how Broadway has evolved. It'd been evolving, right? We were seeing Broadway transition going into the pandemic, you know, telling new stories, different points of view. But I think over the last 18 months with the pandemic, but also our national reckoning with race and diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's not really starting, but brought more forward last June with the murder of George Floyd. I'm interested in your thoughts on how you see, if you see Broadway evolving coming out of all of this.
Yeah, it's a wonderful question, Stephanie. I do see Broadway evolving coming out of this. I already am seeing an evolved Broadway. I mean, whether it's perfect, whether it has hit its zenith of evolution, whether it still has work to do, sure. And those are questions that we can continue to grapple with. But the fact that we are having these conversations every day at casting sessions and in the rehearsal room and at marketing meetings, and that the programming of Broadway shows is reflecting these conversations and reflecting this racial reckoning and the idea that marginalized communities have been sidelined for too long and deserve a voice and deserve a platform and deserve to be cast and included and talked about throughout the content of our shows on Broadway. Like, it's happening. So, we can quibble that it's not done or not enough, for sure. But the fact that it is in existence, that almost every organization that I know that works in the Broadway space has a focus on EDIJ, has a director of people and culture to help with EDI. It is a mandate for lots of companies, both from an executive suite space down to the subordinates, that there is a inclusive and diverse group of people working there. I mean, that is huge. That it is a different Broadway, just visually and spiritually, than there was on March 10th of 2020. So I'm really proud of that. I'm grateful for an industry and colleagues that are pushing me and pushing us to do this work and to move forward. I hope this is not of this moment only. I hope that this is here to stay. My sense is that the stakes that people are putting down for this work is deep-rooted. It is not of the moment. It is not flash in the pan or virtue signaling. It is a true, honest, deep, lifelong commitment. It is for me. It is for my shows. It is for the work that I will continue to do. And I am an optimist. I work in theater.
You have to be an optimist.
During a pandemic. If I was not an optimist, what am I doing here? So I believe in the future. I believe in the best in people. And I believe we will see all that. So I'm cautiously optimistic about what is to come, both in these next 12 months and the years to follow.
And, I was reading an interview with you in Forbes magazine from a few years ago, pre-pandemic, and it was at sort of the height of the Me Too movement. And, you were sharing similar thought there about, this is a thing that has been coming. This is not new. People are speaking. People are advancing this work, specifically, again, in the Me Too space. But, you have been a leader in these spaces, in EDI, in the Me Too movement, in creating an inclusive, open, and representative body of work for Broadway. And I know there is a commitment at the Bushnell, there is a commitment, I think, among our patrons to supporting that work and ensuring that we are part of that. We are part of creating experiences, whether on the stage or observing the stage, that are inclusive. And you mentioned marketing meetings. So on our team, we work with the marketing reps for the shows, and it's our pleasure and our privilege to do that. They are a wonderful group of people, and it's been great to get to know them. But that is something that's very forward in our conversations, is our commitment to ensuring that we're not just reaching out to the same group of folks we've always reached out to, but that we are bringing more folks in, and we are demonstrating that what's on our stage is for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think the shows that are coming out are making that case. The things that we're seeing are making that case.
Yeah.
They are more inclusive and representative and discussion making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that work commercially, Stephanie, right? Like those interesting shows are the ones that people want to see, that they're buying tickets for, that theaters around the country are booking into and programming. I think these changes and these decisions have to be made by our industry, not only because it's the right decision, it's the right change, but because it must make these changes and make these decisions to survive, to subsist into the future, to be a competitor to Netflix.
Well, and to be our best selves, right? We're not our best selves when we only represent one. When we stay in this narrow place, we are better, we are richer, we are more interesting,
right?
When we include all. So it's really exciting. It's really exciting, and I feel like I just keep thanking you, but I thank you. Your work there. I thank you for being part of leading that.
I thank you back. I thank the Bushnell for their commitment to these stories and this work and this diversity of staff and of content. I thank your partners, at other neighboring theaters who are doing this and taking chances on people and shows. So I thank you right back.
So let's talk from a heavy subject. This is probably actually pretty heavy too, but what over the 18 months, over this closure, what were you working on? Not being able to create live performance. Yeah. What was your focus?
Not my golf game, which in retrospect should have been, because it got no better.
I don't play, so you're better than me.
In all seriousness, like I worked really hard in those 18 months.
Yeah.
And there's a piece of me that thought, like, man, should I have just gone to Belize and learned to scuba dive? In a better use of time. But I do love my work, and so that kept me focused. I did a lot of development, Stephanie. I finally had the space and the time to work on the shows that I love and hire new creative teams and give them resources and Zoom rooms to work on scripts and work on new songs and do readings and to tell new and different stories that I had been dreaming up, but hadn't had the space to, help push the boulder up the hill and move forward. So there's a lot of that. A lot of shows came together in a really beautiful way. Shows that had frankly existed in some form before the pandemic, but now have taken a new form that I'm much more proud of, and I think are better for it. So that was incredible. I tried my hand at the virtual theater game. Not forever, right? But it did well, and I enjoyed it. And what I did learn is there is a world for the virtual theater alongside the live theater, to help with education and accessibility and other commercial endeavors too. So it was interesting to learn that I knew how to do more than I realized, and that there was a function for it in the world, and that I could make great work and sell tickets and keep people employed and keep people entertained.
Yeah, the responsibility, trying to put myself in your shoes or what I imagine to be your shoes, that responsibility to artists, to creatives, to performers, that must have been a heavy load to carry, wanting to create work, wanting to employ artists. Yeah, that must have been tough.
No, it was. It was a driver for a lot of what we did. And, we tried to do other things that either we ran out of time for, or, COVID got in the way, or we couldn't quite pull off, or, the road changed and our focus was better. But, we ended up, I did a virtual tour of the Hip Hop Nutcracker that we partnered with the Bushnell, which was great. I did a virtual kids show with the Story Pirates. That was a lot of fun. I did a giant live stream of Jagged Little Pill almost in its entirety as a concert.
Wow.
We called it Jagged Live in NYC, and we got everyone together right before the New York surge in December, safely. Not a single case
Great.
happened then. And a handful of other things, some speaking and teaching and ideating. I spent a lot of time. I taught a lot, just like not professionally, if you will, but as a chair for charity work, or for organizations that needed to learn about entrepreneurship or producing or development. It was exciting to just get in a Zoom room and share things that I think are I forgot about, really. Like they don't seem interesting to me, but to a group of people, it was very helpful to them.
Yeah, things they didn't know, things they haven't considered. Yeah, I think the opportunity that the pandemic provided for those who were in a space where they were able to continue learning. I mean, so many people had burdens they were carrying. That wasn't an option. But if you had the space, if you had the ability, there was so much to learn. Yeah. And those opportunities were out there. And it's great that you were part of that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was very soul nourishing, to be honest, very enriching, very inspiring, and one of the things that we all lost when there was no theater to go to, never mind make, was inspiration.
Yeah.
So where do you derive that, right? I'm someone who lives by it. It drives me. It gets me up in the morning to be inspired. So when that's absent, you have to find it through other means. And that was an interesting challenge, and I enjoyed that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad that you had that time, but I'm even more glad that we're here. Is there anything you'd like to share with our folks watching today that you're working on, or that's coming, that you're particularly excited about?
Oh boy, so much.
Yeah, right. I have to tell you, Jagged Little Pill, that is going to be one of my first back to the city shows. It is the soundtrack of my college, my 20s. I'm ready.
Good. I can't wait for you to see it. I can't wait to bring it to the Bushnell one day on tour. There is, I think you probably know this, theater people are incredibly superstitious. So, we don't say good luck. We don't say the Scottish play's real name when we're inside a theater, all those things. So, in that superstition and neuroses, I certainly cannot talk about the unannounced plays and musicals that I have in development. And there are many, and they are very exciting. But what I can and will talk about is we are launching, which is public news, we are launching Jagged Little Pill in Australia.
Oh, fantastic.
Simultaneous to our launch on Broadway. We were actually supposed to open in 2 weeks. I was supposed to be in Sydney right now. And that poor country, as you know, had its own lockdown and its own suffering from COVID. But it's on track for some time in 22, and we're figuring all that out. And I'm just thrilled that this amazing story that is so contemporary and so meaningful to today's world, not just to today's America, but like to the people of Australia and the people of England and the people of Germany. Like it's a resonant, important, urgent story of today, which actually tells you like the best message. I mean, this was the thing at the end of the day, as sad and tough the 18 months of the pandemic were, I had Alanis Morissette's lyrics to actually make me feel better. You live, you learn, you cry, you learn, right? Like these, everything's going to be fine. These are the answer to life's problems are in Stephen Sondheim lyrics and Alanis Morissette lyrics. Right. Trust me on that.
Yes.
So I'm thrilled that we're going to be able to tell that story around the world, and soon around the country when the show goes on tour and back on Broadway in T-minus I don't know, 30 days? No, where are we? T-minus
October.
October
Right?
21. October 21.
The week before my birthday. It's auspicious. It's an auspicious state.
Good.
It's going to be great.
Good. Yeah. We're T-minus 50 days. I don't know. Each day feels like a year. So
Right. In some ways, it's like that weird, I don't even know how to describe it, the fungibility of time. Like days feel like lifetimes, but weeks feel like minutes. Like
totally.
things just, yeah, it's strange.
I completely agree. The fungibility of time. I'm going to steal that.
Well, I know that this is an exciting time. It's a little bit scary and it's incredibly busy. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk with us today. You have been so great. You joined us for our After the Clouds the Sun video earlier this year. I think it might have been last fall. And you're such a great friend to the Bushnell. So thank you. Thank you for joining us.
My absolute pleasure. I love the Bushnell. I love Hartford. I love you and your staff. I love David Fay.
Oh.
Who doesn't love that guy?
Right.
And I'm completely inspired by the work you guys are doing throughout this whole time. So keep at it, and thank you.
We will. Thank you.
Okay.
She's great, you guys. She's just super, and I'm grateful to have had that conversation, and so glad I could share it with you. As we wrap up today's conversation, just a reminder, as we approach the reopening Saturday, we continue to depend on private support. And again, we're especially grateful for the continued commitment of our From the Wings presenter, Webster Bank, and of course, as you know, your support through individual giving, ticket buying, your subscription. It all matters. It's all important. If you are able and would like to consider making a gift today, I encourage you to go to bushnell.org/donate now, make your first gift or renew your gift, whichever. We welcome it. And as a reminder, if you haven't already, be sure to sign up for our e-club at bushnell.org/e-club and follow us on social media. We are at the Bushnell, all of those places, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're also on Twitter. Tweet with us. I think that's the right way to say that. I hope you'll join us for our next episode of From the Wings on Thursday, September 23rd. It's a very exciting conversation with our Senior Vice President for Education and Community, Yolande Spears, and we're going to be talking about Horace B's Creative Classroom. And this is a new, innovative digital arts and education series that she and her team have created. It's just fantastic, and I look forward to sharing it with you. Until then, I hope you stay safe and well, and look forward to seeing you soon at the Bushnell. Take good care.